I'm Casey Kasem. A few years ago, Dan Fogelberg was being considered as a guitarist with the Eagles. They chose Joe Walsh instead. But that was okay with Dan. He says, I sleep more than the Eagles. I get 10 to 12 hours a day, while those guys live on 6. At number 17 this week, here's slumbering Dan Fogelberg with Longer. Dan Fogelberg at number 17, moving up from 25 with Longer.
Casey's Coast to Coast. Number 8.
What do writer Ernest Hemingway, poet Carl Sandburg, architect Frank Lloyd Wright, and singer-songwriter Dan Fogelberg all have in common? Well, they're all from the state of Illinois. Mr. Fogelberg's in fast company, but only Dan Fogelberg has hit the top 40. His current hit single climbs a notch to number 8 this week. It's called Hard to Say. Dan Fogelberg at number 8 in our countdown of the 40 biggest hits in the USA. He moves up a notch with a song that he co-produced and a song that he wrote. Hard to Say.
Casey's Coast to Coast.
Well, now we're up to the hit song inspired by an annual event that began 107 years ago. It's America's most famous race, and I think even some fans of the Indy 500 will agree to that. It's the horse race known throughout the world as the Kentucky Derby. Well, now we're up to a current hit song that was inspired by the Derby, a song by Dan Fogelberg. In his own words, Dan is a sports nut and a horse nut. It all started when ABC Sports called Dan and asked him if he wanted to appear on their TV special about this famous horse race, a horse race that's been running on the first Saturday in May every year since 1875. Well, Dan Fogelberg said he was so excited about appearing at the Kentucky Derby that he wrote a special song for it. He said, I love horses. Here was the perfect chance to write a song for horses. I went down there to Kentucky to do the show, and it took me about 2 days to write the song. It's the quickest thing I've ever done. Well, Dan Fogelberg's hit song, inspired by and written for the Kentucky Derby, is the biggest mover within the top 40 this week, climbing 12 notches to number 26. Here's Run for the Roses. Dan Fogelberg on American Top 40, moving from 38 all the way up to number 26, biggest mover in the countdown, 12 notches. Run for the Roses. And the countdown continues.
Casey's Coast to Coast. Casey's Coast to Coast. Number 29.
Dan Fogelberg first hit the top 40 back in 1975, but 8 of his 10 hits have come in just the past 3 years. Longer, Heart Hotels, Same Old Lang Syne, Hard to Say, Leader of the Band, Run for the Roses, Missing You, and now Make Love Stay. Holding at number 29, Dan Fogelberg. 31-year-old Dan Fogelberg, born and raised in Peoria, Illinois, making his home in Boulder, Colorado. At number 29, third week in a row with Make Love Stay, as the countdown rolls on.
It's from coast to coast. American Top 40.
I'm Casey Kasem on AT40 with our special survey of the biggest acts on the pop charts so far in this decade. Now we're up to a singer-songwriter who, as far as his fans can tell, doesn't do much else. He avoids publicity, rarely does interviews, and as far as we know, in between concert appearances, just does the chores on his ranch in Boulder, Colorado. With 8 top 40s, including 4 top 10s, placing him at number 22, here's Dan Fogelberg. Dan Fogelberg with a song that climbed as high as number 2 early in 1980. Longer. One of the big hits that put Dan Fogelberg at number 22 in our survey of the most successful acts so far in the 80s.
American Top 40.
I'm Casey Kasem. Climbing 2 notches this week is the current hit by the singer and songwriter Dan Fogelberg. Dan recently told the magazine The Illinois Entertainer that his latest hit is, quote, not one of my nicer songs. It's basically about the inability of men and women to communicate. Not particularly a bright little number. That's Dan Fogelberg on his current hit. Now, you decide. At number 14, here's The Language of Love. The singer-songwriter born and raised in Peoria, Illinois, Dan Fogelberg on American Top 40 at number 14, moving up 2 notches with his latest, The Language of Love.
The hits from coast to coast. Casey's Countdown.
I'm Casey Kasem. We're on our way to this week's number one song on the Adult Contemporary chart. Now, here's the song that was number one on the AC chart 16 years ago this week, back in 1980. It's by Dan Fogelberg, a singer-songwriter who had 7 consecutive million-selling albums during the 70s and 80s. This song came from his million-selling album called Phoenix. This is Dan Fogelberg with Longer. 16 years ago this week, back in 1980, that was the number one song on the Adult Contemporary chart, Longer, by Dan Fogelberg.
Casey's Countdown.